All right, it is 5:17. I call this meeting of the Mount Vernon Independent School District to order. Let the record show that a quorum of board members is present, that this meeting has been duly called, and that the notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. Do I have a motion to certify the agenda?
Motion made.
Motion made by Linda, seconded by Donnie. All four. That is 6-0. Let the record show that Josh Jordan isn't here tonight. All right. Donnie, would you mind opening us in prayer?
Dear Lord, we want to thank you for the opportunity to meet today. We ask for your wisdom and guidance as we discuss matters that affect our students, teachers, and our community. Ask you to help us to communicate with respect and to be effective in our decisions. I ask this all in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
There's flags on the other side. Texas flag there, American flag right here.
I
pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas,
one state, under God, one and indivisible.
We're gonna just get back on, so we can just keep moving.
All right. That worked.
All right.
All right. Do we have any
We don't have any special recognition tonight, no ma'am.
All right. Campus department updates.
I don't think our principals have anything to update tonight as well. Matter of fact, no.
All right. What about our?
Can y'all hear us? Barely?
Okay.
Okay, we'll use our teacher voices.
Construction update.
Do we have Jackson? Is Jackson online? Okay.
Hellas, God bless him.
I'm gonna speak for Hellas here. Yes, please, go ahead, Luke.
Okay, sorry, I didn't hear Joey clear, I couldn't hear you. So I guess we can start with the Area A, which is our middle school edition. Pretty much wrapped up over there. We've got some loose ends. If y'all been around that corner or around that area, I know we don't see the storefront or the front doors. They actually got delivered today, and I believe the installation is going to start tomorrow. According to Dustin, all the paving and everything, pole lights and all that have been finalized. I believe the striping was done towards the end of last week, and we're just doing some punch items. Signage was installed as well, and I believe the big tiger mural was installed towards the middle or end of last week. So that area should be pretty clear for us to turn over come school time. So we're just finishing up some loose ends in Area A. Jumping over to the auditorium, I know that we had to get back in there and repaint some walls. The scaffolding is down. Once those walls in the back of the foyer, once those walls are repainted, then we'll be able to, we're going to get in there and replace all the carpet down the aisles. And once that's done, I believe, and we'll get it obviously cleaned up, that area should be wrapped up within the next 3 weeks. So the auditorium can be occupied when students come back in the fall. Over in Area C, which is the administration portion, everybody knows, we have actually started demoing. I know the demo guys have mobilized today. I don't know what they started demoing on the inside, but I know that whole interior is going to start getting demoed. So we've started that process in Area C. The cafeteria, the fine arts. I know that their grade beams are finished out, so they're just stripping all the wood forms that you see everywhere and backfilling the dirt in those areas. And I believe the end of last week, they poured the last of the concrete wall for the storm shelter. And they're working I'm going to include Area G, which is the ag facility. I know that they're continuing to pour grade beams in that area as well. We have had a little bit of challenge over in the high school foyer. We had an incident that we have corrected. There was a sanitary line, but we have fixed that. All the piers are done, so I'm sure everybody's happy that we're not talking about drilled concrete piers anymore. So that's what we're doing over there. All the site work, I know they started some of the site work in front of the school as well, started demoing all that, starting to demo and bring in the equipment to demo that front area as well. And I know when I was there a week or so ago, I know they were pouring concrete on the, I guess that'd be where we had our temporary canopy up. I believe all that backside on the east side, that fire lane's been poured. And I don't know if we've started installing the temporary awning back there. So a lot of moving parts, a lot going on. So I'm sure I've missed something, but that's the overall standing where we are with the construction of the project.
Any questions for Lou? All right, Lou, thank you.
You're welcome. Y'all have a good evening.
Thank you, sir, you as well.
Should be moving to video now.
Okay.
This is that first one you sent me that short.
Okay,
Oh,
here it is. So that's the front of the new admin of the middle school. They've not got the awnings up, that's the ramp that's gonna go up there. They still have to put the handrails up on that. As he said, the storefront doors were delivered today, which go right there on the left. This is now the inside of the what it looks like. That's the entrance. Still, those doors have to be put in as well. So you'll come in. This is where you'll enter into the office complex where Miss Glover will be. There's the tiger mural they were talking about on that wall there. I'm sorry. So visitors will come into there and then go through that door to go back out. Or to enter back into the main part of the campus. Ms. Major, who else will be there with Miss Glover?
Miss Jennifer,
Miss Jennifer?
what did you say just now about everyone go to the back door?
So like visitors, if they have to come through, will come through the office, turn right there, get their visitor's badge if they were to go through, to go to anywhere back inside the campus. You just saw the nurse's office. This is the conference room. Still a little tile work to do up above that table. That's Miss Donna's office. Her things were just put in there. She has not been here yet. She has been on vacation. So we'll just see the furniture in her office. That closet will be her testing closet, and any student files she'll have to keep will be there as well. Restrooms on either side of the hallway. So I'm gonna have to turn the lights on and off as I'm doing that. Counting the nurse's office, this new office complex actually has 4 restrooms. I can show you the restroom, the nurse's office, they have one. This teacher workroom here.
And that's really been through it.
Just except Ms. Bates, you want to explain it, 7th and 8th still has their workroom in their side as well. I mean, this will be useful by all 4 grade levels, that workroom. Ms. Butler's office there, across from the future workroom. It says conference, but I think that actually is where Coach Haley's office is going to be, is that correct?
Yes. That is
Another office, but they're going to use that for,
if we have like CPS or kids that need to do Zoom calls with counselors and stuff. Or use that.
Ms. Bates' office. Ms. Bates, I'm sorry. Give you a heads up that your office is fixing to be shown here as well. As you can tell, she spent some time getting things ready for her office already. It's very nice. Right across is another restroom. Now you can take a look at this one. This one is large, but it's just a single restroom. It's about twice as deep as the other 2. Custodial closet here on the left. Another entry exit there for staff. SRO's office here on the end. Technology closet. Electrical closet here. Should have tied up a few things. Then that's where it ties in. You have double doors there. They've still got some work to do right behind those new double doors into the glass doors. I think it looks like they've already got the floor done. They're going to sheetrock the wall, tie it in, like the slope where it's supposed to be. But that's something that was where their buildings joined together. They're still working on. Like I said, the main thing they still got to do is add both storefront doors, and then we'll get KLT to come in and do the security pieces on it, and then the cleanup in the middle school offices will pretty much be done.
Okay, so where does it feed into, like, the old part? Like, is it
So right
the
there,
old junior high or the middle school?
so those doors go right through the breezeway.
Oh, okay.
So you've got 7th and 8th grade door right there in that new part where the science is, or the computer lab, and the
Right,
science
up the
room
hall.
on the left. And right there on the right goes back into, well, that's where the middle room is gonna be now.
Six grade science hall.
Okay, but it used to be the music room was right there.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. So that's where those doors, that's where it ties together. Again, so that closes off that mall area that was totally exposed before we built that. Ties in on the other side on the, those doors where we just didn't go through, right there by the life skills class, really.
Miss Lockery's class.
Yeah, Miss Watkins' class.
Okay, question.
Okay?
Where is what have y'all done with the old gym that used to be there?
Which work now?
So what do y'all do?
The PTM, still
No,
there.
it's still there.
I was like,
No, what do y'all utilize it for?
still for heat.
Okay. It's old.
So have heat there, and so here's what we'll have is again, like for junior high ball games, they'll come through those double doors and go straight to those doors.
You'll have to come through the office.
Correct.
For
It's
everything.
kind of like when you go to Freighland, if you've been to Freighland, go to a game, you have to go through the school and get to the gym. You're gonna have, visitors will have to come through these doors to get to the auditorium for a pageant or a one-act play or whatever. Same thing for the middle school gym. They'll come, this is the direction they'll come from.
Okay.
Take your table, take your table. Yeah, that's what it'll be. Because what's fixing to happen is, they're on either side of the admin, there's the office, they'll decide to close off those walkways. So there won't be any access from there. Of course, the high school, you can come around, once all that's done, you come back, you come through by the ag and walk up the corridor.
Right.
You know, like by the gym, the dressing rooms and the home, you come that way. But we'll have everybody, for visitors, for junior high games, any activity happening in the auditorium, this is the direction they'll come.
Are we not, I thought for security purposes, it was all gonna be like cut off.
It is. It is. It's all gonna be closed off.
Or where were you saying that you're coming from the high school?
So there'll be gates
Okay,
coming by the ag barn, by the ag.
that, I was just clear.
Between the ag and, yeah, between the ag and the cheer room, there'll be gates there.
We're trying to get in our mind.
Yes, ma'am. Again, I wish we could admit that I'd love for you to walk through, but, you know, hopefully you kind of see a little bit what's inside. Please, if you have a chance, if you have a chance during the daytime, please come by and take a walk through it. Love for you to come take a walk through it. Actually, you're more welcome to show off our new building. Any questions on this?
Thank you for
Okay,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome. Absolutely.
Yeah, I know it's old.
I'm glad you brought your bag. Usually I have my big bag.
I like this, that's pretty good.
Very good. That way people can see.
Okay, in regard to, Hellas, talked with Hellas today. They are finishing up, they were supposed to install the benches in the visitors' locker room, today. If not today, it'll be tomorrow. I think I saw Smith Construction there. I know at lunch went by, they weren't there, but I saw his truck coming over here, so I take it that's what they're doing, is installing those benches. The company that they are getting to do, to try to do basically laser removal on the bleachers. So they should have their machine next week, and we'll come do a test drive on some of it, and will let us know what they get from there. But they're still working to do that. Drainage wise, in regard to there a while ago, the rain from this weekend, no issue in regard to the bathrooms. I think the drainage issue there is corrected. Fencing is up and completed, and so other really than the bench in the visitors' locker room, they're pretty completed.
So about the softball field.
So in regard to the softball field,
That sounded like, sorry.
no, sorry. So here's the deal on that. And I talked to him about that. Anything in regard to softball field will be warranty work, but I guess I might have to get, I was gonna speak to Donnie about that. I guess I'm gonna get to him, because I went before the meeting. I can't see, I'm not seeing myself from walking outside the fence, in regard to what you're talking about, home plate or right field.
You have to go inside.
The seams, all the seams.
Okay,
I took some pictures, but you can't really tell.
okay.
And I was gonna go to outfield today, but couldn't get in the gate, and I got too fast.
Well, that was me. I don't have the code to lock either. But no, we'll get that. But anyway, I talked to him about anything on that. That is a warranty piece there that they will take care of. They are gonna come back. I don't know if you've noticed coming by or have looked, the wind this weekend knocked down the north screen on the tennis court. We're gonna have their folks come back and repair that. He did say that the zip ties are made to where at a certain wind speed, they are gonna break, so it doesn't rip the fabric or rip the screen. But we're gonna get that information to be able to replace those as needed as well. Any question regarding Ellis?
Will they put it back? In other words, will it happen again? Or will they put something stronger? Or?
No, they'll put back what the specs call for. So is it gonna happen again? Probably, because zip ties are gonna break and we just have to hang it back up. They did, we had 2 nets that were broke, they repaired, both nets. So both of those are fixed and been repaired. So in regard to the tennis courts, I touched base, I know that Ms. Bates said something about that. I emailed Mr. Bates, he said there was not he thinks any issue had been taken care of, so there's not anything else on that. So tennis courts are good with the nets fixed and the screen being put back up. Football bathroom drainage, again, I think has been taken care of. There's not been water back in there since they redid the concrete. Bleachers, we talked about, they're going to be working on that. And baseball, softball, I'll get with you, Donnie, and we'll find a time that we can point out to me what you're referring to.
Okay.
Okay?
And what about the sound system? Like,
Remind me, that was something you had talked about as well on the baseball, softball sound system.
well, on the football field, I don't even think there's any on the visitor side, like any speakers. I think the only
Might not be
speakers
because they're going, we'll find out on that as well.
pretty bad.
Okay?
There's not.
I don't think there
What
is.
is that?
Huh?
There are no speakers on the other side. But I don't know that it was.
Yeah, I don't either.
Yes, ma'am. Baseball, softball, speakers. Okay. We'll follow up on those. Anything else on construction?
How did they come to the number of 100 and whatever?
143 days. So the 143 days is going to, I'm taking it, they've gone back on weather, I'm gonna say on the weather app, I didn't ask her that question today, I should have, on weather day, on weather app, and showed what days that it actually had rain. Here's where I say that. My take is, unless he's gone back, and I don't know that for sure, another way would be that he kept a note of that each time it happened, which way it should be done. I know that for Jackson, each day there's a rain day that they're not able to work. Lou sends me an email saying this was a rain day, no work was done in area A, B, or D.
So can we ask for their
Sure,
documentation?
absolutely. So they've sent us documentation. We have actual documentation of the days that they show. I'll show that to you. It shows the 143 days.
Just can't see it raining 143 days.
But it's over the 2-year. It's over the 2-year term, or since they started. It goes back from when they started.
So it's not just the 1 year.
Yeah, that's not starting August 9th. Or whenever.
No. That starts from the day the project started, which would have been, well, let's see, the bond passed in May, and so they started early June of 23. So.
But from August when they started
Yeah, we
paying
don't.
the $1,000.
Correct. Yeah, but now, are they counting days from August? Yeah, but the rain days actually start from the first day of construction.
But those days from August on shouldn't be on us.
They still count as rain days of not being able to work. Rain days are rain days.
I bet they're counting the ones the previous year before the 1,000.
Sure. Sure, any rain day in a construction, so it's kind of the same thing with Jackson right now. Jackson's, a rain day during construction of the contract is a rain day of not being able to work, to perform the work. That's how the contract's written.
But it seems like with
What you're saying is.
Well, yeah, I mean,
from August is when
from August
the
on.
deadline, then that should be the days there.
Yeah.
Not getting
You're
rain
not getting
days
it back.
after that day.
I mean, they should have had the work done
We
by the August.
can ask, but I'm saying it's still a non-work day that they're able to do work to finish the job that they've completed. We can ask that.
Well, yeah, but you see what I'm saying.
I do.
They should have been completed by August, so why does, I mean,
Rain days are not. Rain day, right, because they shouldn't go retro. It shouldn't be retro.
I'm not sure I'm following what you're saying in regard to retro.
Well, they were supposed to be finished August.
I get that part. So what you're saying is you're questioning any rain days after August 9th.
Correct.
Yes, the credit, I get the credit for any rain days that happened after that, but any rain days that happened before,
Right.
I don't know.
So back up.
Look at either one if you want the truth.
So the contract states, now I'll go back to the office and I'll send that piece of the contract to you. The contract states that they get credit for rain delay days.
Okay.
Okay, so, and that starts from the day that, the beginning of the contract, from the beginning of the work. So any rain days throughout that time. And so they're also stating, basically, till the job is completed, a rain day is a day that they can't work, so they get credit, or they don't get counted against that day for them of not being finished.
So do we have,
So in essence, what they're saying is, let me back it again. So they have counted days after August 9th, yes. So I don't know how I'd have to look back, how many days that is after August 9th. But how the contract shows is, so let's say it's 100 days before August 9th. Then what they're saying, that actually moves them, according to the contract, whatever 100 days after August 9th is, would be the completion date.
Right.
Because a day during the contract that they can't work gives them additional days to finish that job according to the number of rain days it is.
What were you asking?
so do we have, I mean, would we have a camera that shows the area? I mean, we have cameras around on
Sure.
campus that show to where we could look back and see.
Nothing's stored longer than 30 days.
So we can verify it.
So we don't have anything past 30 days.
Any other questions on this, or?
How many days either way?
143.
I just don't see the
In 2 years.
days in 2 years that they couldn't work, cause I gathered tomatoes in the rain and I got wet. But I still gathered them.
Amen.
I would like to just,
Okay, so what I wrote down is we have a question about the rain days after August 9th.
well, that and how they came up with that number. And if they have a worker's log they've used or something to show us why they couldn't work. Does that make sense?
Sprinkles don't count.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
I'm not so sure the weather app is something.
Well,
to
because
use.
it says it's gonna rain, but
And
we
it
don't
doesn't
get the
rain.
rain.
Yeah,
so
we
they
didn't
got it
rain.
down there.
Yeah.
Or
So-
even if they have email exchanges between like their Smiths, right? Like if they,
Smith, they've got different contractors. B. Smith, their defense guys are different.
that said, hey, we can't work today, like Jackson does with us. I mean, they've gotta give us something other than just here's our number, I would think.
I agree.
We'll see what I can find
Something concrete.
out. Okay?
Alright, so
Okay.
documentation.
Linda, thank you for reading my mind and explaining it. She's been around me enough.
Alright, and no one's here for open forum. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda? Motion made by Donnie, do I have a second? Second. Seconded by Linda, all four. 6-0. Alright, and then we have a discussion item, which is the new 2025-2026 personal communication device policy for Mount Vernon ISD.
Yes, we do. Giving you a copy of that. As you know, House Bill 1481 was passed legislative session that limits personal device use during instructional time, which has also been a conversation that the board has had itself of looking at that. As you know, middle school started that last year, and I think Ms. Bates would say had some great success with that. What we have done is we've seen some other districts that have put something like this together. We have kind of used that and kind of adapted that to ourselves. Our principals talked through that based upon what they saw, and we wanted for you to see this. This is not actually approving the policy. This is just to let you see information that we want to begin sharing out with families before school starts, so that we can put that out as quite often and get it out in front of them So if they start having questions, they can ask that, but also so they can see it several times before school starts. As you can see, there's different pieces to it. What it does apply to is it's not a cell phone policy, it's a personal communication device. You see what that entails. Cell phones, smartwatches, gaming devices, earbuds, radio devices, Bluetooth speakers, iPods, MP3s, etc. AI glasses. I didn't even know that existed. Craig had to explain that to me, that was something that is now available. So it includes AI glasses as well. iPads, tablets, any other personal electronic device. So it's kind of an FAQ, Q&A in regard to what it has here. Shows when the child can use their device. There are questions on there because I know we're going to have some parents. Well, what if there's an emergency? Well, it talks about that. If there's an emergency, then that student needs to go to the office and be allowed to use a phone in the office like what we all had to do before cell phones took place or were brought into being. Talks about medical condition. If a child has a medical need, then documentation will have to be provided for that. Lockdown safety event talks about that. Also talks about how it will be handled, even in regard to confiscation, as well as if there's discipline involved in that. Again, our principals are the ones that are going to have to be dealing with that on the campus. I think it's kind of a combination of what middle school used last year and kind of what high school is wanting to do as well. So the first couple, 3 times that a student has their phone taken up, there's not discipline that is involved in it. It is just that the phone's going to be confiscated. Parents going to have to pick it up, and it gets to a point to where that there is a return fee that they have to, that they're kind of a fine that they get for having their personal device out. Then there is some discipline that takes place after that, and you see what that looks like. Talks about storing confiscated devices. Also talks about, because we know that this is going to come up, parents going to call and say, I can't show up for my kid to get their phone. Can they pay the $10 to pick the phone up? That answer is no. It's got to be picked up by the parent. So again, we provided that for you. We wanted to see that, give you the opportunity to look at that. Our principals are here. Craig is a part of putting that together as well. If you have questions in regard to what that is and what we're putting out, this would be the time they'd be willing to kind of talk through that if you need them to.
What about their burner phones that they're gonna have stashed?
Take those up too.
Okay,
I mean, they count as it's a phone, it's a phone, it's a phone.
okay,
But you're right, there's many of them that have,
Jessica.
yeah,
that have multiples. So,
Oh,
I mean,
definitely.
they take the one we see and the other one that don't see it. So,
We're gonna get this out to
Yes,
teachers.
yes. We're going to put it out on our social media and our webpage this week, but I wanted you to see it before we put it out. I wanted tonight to take place before we start sending that out.
I mean,
Thoughts, questions, concerns about this FAQ that's going out? Again, we will, our next board meeting is actually the first day of school. We've got TASB working with us in regard to the official policy that we will adopt, but we'll have that on the agenda to adopt August the 11th.
Ms. Bates, how do you feel like, because this was the first year middle school did it, which is kind of a good trial run for the district, I would say. How do you feel like it was implemented? This is very similar to what you guys had, is that correct?
Yeah, the only changes we really made was just the discipline process. We're gonna, being that it's a new policy for the whole district, we're separating it from our infraction system.
Okay.
So we won't even play into that infraction system. It's a whole different process as far as what happens. And it just kind of, we want it to be whatever the elementary does, whatever high school does, we're all uniform. Because typically what we have in ours is point-based. So now it's just, that way they're not having to make changes. And the freshman that Glover is gonna get should already kind of have that mindset.
Do you think it went well though, what y'all did last year?
Oh yeah, we had, parents calling, we had a lot of parents that wanted to, they come to the office and say, hey, I feel like I said my kid, he said this and this. So, it's just making sure that parents understand that, but prior years, completely different. So, yeah, this past year was great. I mean, we've had very minimal issues with videos and just cell phone drama in general, so.
So they
I think
can
it's
have their
great.
phone in the morning, they just can't have it out.
If it's seen, if it's out, correct.
It's supposed to be stored in the backpack.
Should-
Does high
should
school
be.
have the same backpack policy?
Does high school have the same backpack policy as middle school? You're gonna probably specify what you're talking, what you're asking.
Well, cause in this, it says the phone is supposed to be stored in the
In the
backpack.
backpack. Yes, that's what we're gonna go with. If they have a backpack, we'll make them use it in there. You know, so a lot of the hospitals, you know, we've always had the policy, no cell phones in the classrooms. A lot of the teachers would do the thing where they had to put it in the little calculator holders up on the wall or little blocks up front. So one of the things we've been kind of debating is, you know, if we allow that practice to continue, then they have to get their phones out and put it in there. So that kind of violates the spirit of some of this. So we're gonna start, at least start the year out, you know, we're not even gonna do that. It's, they're out of sight, out of mind, they're in the backpacks, locked away, don't bring them to school. So if you get into, putting them into the calculator holder, then you gotta get them back, and they're walking down the hall with them in their hands, then we'll take them up. It's just gonna create a circle of use. So I think the answer to what you're asking, yes, they have a backpack, which almost all kids do, it's not allowed to come out at all.
But cause at the middle school though, backpacks have to stay in the locker. Is that
Oh,
correct?
we don't even use lockers at the high school.
Okay.
We don't even use lockers. Almost every kid carries a backpack if they go into the classroom with them. There's some teachers have put all the backpacks against a certain wall. There's a couple of teachers that make them actually sit it outside the classroom, and then there's some that have it at their desk. So it's kind of a mixed bag.
I guess cause that was my question, cause I can see how it makes sense if the phones have to be put up in their backpack and the backpack's supposed to be stayed in the locker, but maybe implementation might be a little bit harder at high school with just,
Yeah, but not having the locker changes that a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think that, you know, it could be as simple as every classroom has a designated place for the backpacks to go,
Right.
rather than sitting at the desk.
okay.
I think that's probably, that's a good thought, actually, I thought about that, that's probably a good one to do.
Any other?
Any other thoughts in regard to the FAQ that we wanna send out?
I appreciate y'all working to put this together.
Okay, we
Good
will get that message out this week. We'll get it on our website and out on social media as well, so people can start seeing it. Okay?
All right, and then, moving on to our action items. Action item A is consider the decision to opt in or out of allowing homeschool participation in UIL activities.
Okay, as you know, 2 years ago, legislation was passed giving schools schools had to make a decision. We made a decision, didn't have to be board approved, to either opt in or opt out of allowing homeschool participation. This legislative session now requires the school board to act. If the school board does not act by September 1, then we automatically opt in to allow homeschool participation. My take on this is that we continue under the current policy that we have. I say policy, stance, thank you, current stance of what we've been, and that is the opt-out of homeschool participation.
Are there any other questions for that? Okay. Is there a motion to continue to opt out of homeschool participation in UIL activities?
Motion made.
Motion made by Linda, seconded by Donnie, all four? 6-0. Action item B, consider and approve the recommended updates to policy EIC and EIA to reflect the change from 6-week to 9-week grading periods.
Okay, I'm gonna ask if Craig Watson will kind of speak toward this. He's kind of led the conversation with our principals, and so I'm Craig, if you don't mind, I'm gonna let you speak on this, please, sir.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Not real well, speak up, please, I know. I'm making a move. I love Craig.
We started having this conversation last spring, we talked about it, and the initial part of the conversation, so just to clarify, when I was the special services director, one of the most tedious tasks, it's time consuming So that was the initial thought behind it. It's not gonna change the services the student gets. It's not gonna change anything, in regards to monitoring their IEPs, but it's gonna reduce the paperwork burden from 6 times a year to 4 times a year, because the policy says you have to do it currently 6 weeks. That was the initial thought, especially when I brought it up. Then we started doing pacing work, for our new curriculum, and we were talking about how we have, at K-1, we have, standards-based report cards, or skills-based report cards. And it came to light that our teachers were stopping instruction and taking 2 to 3 days rolling kids through all of the skills to be able to measure and report on where those skills were. Now that's a whole other separate issue. But going back to, we're on 4-day school week, we got limited instructional days. So if we can reduce the paperwork and the tedious pieces of, instead of every 6 weeks to 9 weeks doing some of these things, it won't change the fact that a kid is still gonna have daily grades, or still gonna have test grades at the same rate of consistency that they had over a 6-week period. We're still gonna do progress monitoring at 3 weeks, 6 weeks, and 9 weeks. So every 3 weeks, there's gonna be a progress report generated out of the sender, so that you'll be able to, because we still have to, for UAL purposes, have to determine if they're eligible, if they lose or regain eligibility. But it really has no bearing on the child or them being able to know, well, how am I doing in class. It's more of a, let's take some administrative stuff, even if it's just a little bit off the teacher. And I started doing some research with other 4-day schools, trying to look at policies and whatever else. And as I started looking at the list of ones that I knew, found that several of them had gone to a 9-week grading period on 4-day school. We have to maximize every day we can. So that's the thought.
Okay, on the 9-week thing. I can see it in the elementary. Cause I'm weird. Because, I mean, you look at your grading period where it's gonna cross over like holidays, things like that. Like you have to come back from Christmas and take semester tests.
No, the second 9 weeks we end before Christmas.
Who's responsible for the eligibility stuff?
Well, we develop an eligibility calendar at the high school, at the district, and it goes out to the campuses, and they know which day, at the beginning of the school year, they know every day in which the student can lose or regain eligibility when the grace period starts. And that's developed based on, UIL has a side-by-side that talks about how you develop that eligibility calendar based on the 6 weeks, 9 weeks, 5-day school week, and 4-day school week. Just use a formula, it's a 1-pager, student check grades on this day, regainer loses on this day, progress check on this day, regainer loses on this day.
But the teachers would know. I mean, the teachers are the ones.
Yes,
Because they're gonna have to get grades in, so.
But here's the other thing, so UIL eligibility check and progress reporting requirements along with the 9-week grading period, 2 separate things. However, they're calculated differently. When we talk about UIL and a kid regains in 3 weeks, that's technically 15 school days, okay? Versus a 3-week progress report and policy is 3 weeks. So the way it falls is, and I'm gonna give you an example, as I started looking at the calendar today. After the first 9-week grading period, the 3-week progress reporting period would be on a Thursday, where here's 3-week progress reports. The actual regain or lose eligibility would be the following Tuesday. So your teachers, and here's the thing, everything we're talking about, whether it's UIL or whether it's grading, it doesn't matter if we're on a 6-week period, 9-week period, 12-week period, we issue progress once a week or 3 weeks. Teachers have to keep their grades up that period for it to all be valid. And that falls back on the campus.
Yeah.
Okay, next question.
A lot of times.
If you go to the 9-week grading period, wouldn't you have to change your grading policies, like more tests?
Well,
to get all your tests and things in, when you have to,
I've already got that. We took the number required for 6 weeks, divided that half out of another 3 weeks, so it's not gonna change the number of grades over a semester or over a year that a kid has. It's just gonna put more grade, and I don't remember the exact numbers, but we basically took half of what we had and then added another half back to it, so that it's equivalent to the work they would have done.
So if you
over
had
a
12,
9-week period.
now it's 18.
Yeah,
Correct.
yes. For the kids, it's really if your teachers do what they're supposed to be doing, and here's the thing we're kind of unfamiliar with, because I've never really looked at it, is law only requires, and then it goes back down to the local policy, once every 12 weeks, and a progress report if they're failing. That's it. But we go above and beyond, and I say we schools go up, with our progress reporting periods. And we do progress reports on every kid, whether they're failing or not.
Any other questions?
You want to share with them a conversation about progress reports as well?
Yes. So, we're on the 9-week period, we would still do a 3-week progress report and a 6-week progress report, and then have your final grade at 9, so that every 3 weeks, our kids, they've got legitimate point that they know. We're not gonna just do a 3-week and then wait 6 more weeks and then grade them up right before the 9-week period. Okay?
that's what I was concerned about.
And so,
That was my big concern.
the other thing, so here's my thoughts. Multiple school districts, and I know even some of the bigger ones that have talked to our attorneys today in Austin, they're doing all electronic communication for report cards and for progress reports. Now, legal policy has some statements in there about requiring a parent to sign that they've received it if you do it electronically. Well, a sender program we use doesn't have the capability for a parent to receive through electronic communication a report card or progress report and actually physically sign. But we can pull, and it doesn't require that they sign an opportunity. So what we're proposing, I talked to our attorneys today, is put out communication at the beginning of the year and prior to each grading period and progress period, just to get parents familiar with it. Hey, everything's gonna be electronic. You can access this through your parent portal. We'll have a record of your access, because we can pull a report, a digital fingerprint to show that they've accessed it. We don't let them send it their signature, but then also let them opt if they can't access it, or anytime want a paper copy of their report card or their progress report, then they get that much.
So if you have a parent meeting, you can pull that and you say, you're worried about your child's grades and why hadn't teacher X put grades in, but here you haven't even looked.
We had this conversation last year looking at doing this, and there's a cost savings by doing it as well from a district standpoint.
You're not mailing, you're not spending
Yeah.
on postage. Postage went up again.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Any other questions in regard to the 9-week change?
Jason, do y'all have, from an athletic standpoint, y'all got a good grasp of how all this would work?
Yes, sir. Like you were saying, it shouldn't change a whole lot because of the way the 3 weeks still will line up for athletic purposes. We just need to make sure that teachers understand that even though we're changing to the 9 weeks, that 3-week mark is still there for regaining eligibility. And make sure that the grades.
I didn't mention your idea of calling and talk to our athletic director and ask him his thoughts on it. He was like, yes, please, let's do that. So I just wanted to get some input before you.
Any other
And
questions?
we do, and I'm not trying to back it up, but we do have the draft policy ready too for the cell phone stuff. To the way for you next month that we're taking to us.
Any other questions for the 6 to 9 week?
So in regard to both policies, let's look at that real quick. Policy EIA local, In progress reporting, the district shall issue grade report cards every marks out 6, changes to 9. In the interim progress report shall be issued for all students after the 3rd and 6th week of each grading period is added. And then EIC local, the change there was in regard to local graduation with honors. Marks out at the end of the 5th, 6th, and makes the 3rd week of the 4th 9-week grading period of the senior year for calculations.
Can we continue that conversation?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Angie had said something about this before we vote on exact language on this, and I'm just gonna throw something out here as a mention while ago, just thoughts. So, as I was saying before, policy requires a progress report for only the students who are failing. But our policy doesn't distinguish that. It says every kid's getting it. Okay. I was looking at a neighboring school, and I won't name them today, but for their elementary campus, in their policy, they stated that they were going to issue progress reports in accordance with legal as needed when a kid's failing. So they had a different policy for K-4 than they had for secondary. Here's our concern. Standards-based reporting, K and 1, doing progress reports. We already talked about that was the whole initial thing. Could we consider doing the language for them that we do it according to the legal policy? Angie, do you want to do it on one time on a 4-week basis, or do it as needed when they're failing? Just a question for your K-1 kids.
The way we did it last year is everyone got a progress report, but we did it where they're on target or see below the areas of concern. So every child got one, and it said, like I said, either they're on target or this is where I need your support at home because these are areas of problem.
Right. What I don't want us to lock us into is having to do standard-based for K-1 every 3rd and 6 weeks.
So what would the recommendation be for K and 1?
Once at 4 weeks, because that means the minimum.
Once in 4 weeks if they're failing or.
The minimum requirement for that grade level to meet law would be by the 4-week period for failing.
Is that what you're?
So your 3-week would work, because then you're notifying before the 4th week.
Yeah.
According to the language.
If we could add the language if they're not meeting standard. We need to look back at what the actual language of one is. I don't have it in front of me. Would y'all be okay with that? So
Okay, so here I guess, why don't we do this?
Should we put it?
Let's do, yeah, that's what I was gonna say, let's do this, let's vote on the change, either to approve or not approve,
the 9-week.
EIC and EIA local, and we can bring EIC back with amended language in August.
Question, have y'all talked to the teachers? Have y'all talked to teachers that'll actually be doing,
Not just administrators.
or not just administrators, because they're not the trenches?
So to answer your question, no, but let me ask you this, if I'm having to do 12 daily grades in 3 tests over a 9-week period, regardless of when report cards are due, but to answer your question, no, I haven't talked to any teacher, just talk to the principals.
It would make sense that they would be for this.
It's,
I mean, if
4 months is 6 times I'm having to do that. To answer your question,
you know, no, I was just looking at calculus. I mean, that would make sense.
I think you've talked to other schools that are doing it.
no, I'll just look at their policy, I looked at multiple schools' policies. There's a ton of schools on 9 week, and I'm not, for the teachers themselves, they're still gonna have the same number of grades. They're gonna be instructing, it's just, it's
Less paperwork.
two less times where they have to do administrative work. It's 4 versus. It's really all it is. It's not that
Nothing
big a
has
change.
changed.
It's not a major. Yeah, we just have another policy. line with what we're making.
Any other further questions before we bring it to vote?
Progress report. Yeah, could you not do a progress report every 3 and 6 weeks? If
What it
they're-
says.
That's
That's
what
what
But just if they're failing.
So let me here's the way it works. When you do it electronically, the teacher's grades are kept up, and it's gonna be distributed electronically. It's literally somebody in the office pushing the button that says generate progress. Except for K1, where it's actually them
Doing the test.
doing standards checks for kids.
But
Which I can
teachers,
see them being. very
teachers are
grateful to.
gonna have to keep their grades up.
Well, absolutely. But that.
That's regardless
If we-
whether
if
it's
we
6
do
or
that,
9 weeks.
we-
I know,
Yeah.
but that's a biggie.
It is.
Cause
It
I've
is.
talked to some teachers, some
Some
people.
parents, parents.
Yeah.
Get on my kid.
Well, but that goes back to the same thing with what you're saying. We don't want, great next conversation today, we don't want to have a student or a parent who's sitting there keeping an eye on their student's average, and it looks like it's good, and then as Craig used the word, grade dump
Yep.
at week 6, and now we've got a student who is struggling, who actually has been struggling, but now it shows. And so again, that becomes administrative from the campus principal level of
But that's
making
not
sure.
happening at 6
yeah.
or 9.
Either way.
Correct.
You know.
Correct.
Exactly.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Or once a year.
When you got one that dumped something last week and the passing kid's now failing and you've got 48 hours to
Yeah.
get a grade up.
So again, in regard to the request of the K1, let's work on language for that for August.
Roll everything as it.
I would, it would be my recommendation that we act upon, that we take a vote in regard to what we currently have of either local policy, EIC, EIA, and move from 6 to 9 week. It's been put as one motion. I'd make that recommendation to the board that be approved.
And then just the continuing conversation with admin that
Correct.
we don't have the grade dumping.
Correct. Yes, that'll be.
I mean,
that'll
not,
be
that
part-
doesn't need to be
Yes,
voted on,
correct.
but just that's
Correct.
been voiced, so
Correct.
need to stay on top of that. Okay, do I have a motion to approve, I will make the motion to approve the recommended updates to policy EIC and EIA and to reflect the change from a 6-week to a 9-week grading period. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Kyle, all 4? Okay,
2, 3.
that's 3, motion dies without a majority.
Vote against.
Vote against,
3, 3.
3-3.
Okay.
Alright.
I just wanna know more about it.
I know,
With the teacher.
more detail.
Okay, so
Okay,
then,
so
hold on. So y'all don't want it, cause if that,
Can I say, I mean, I'd look far out for elementary in a heartbeat.
Okay. Do y'all need more information, or is it a hard, cause that's 2 different votes. If it's a hard no, but,
It's not.
None.
I just have had
the one
several
direction you need to
young
give
ones.
us as administration what you're needing.
I just had several phone calls that don't want it. I've not had anybody other than administrative, just comments here that do want it. And so I have a hard time when we haven't communicated with our staff that, we're gonna move to this. They may love it, and that's great, I'm for it.
just more teacher feedback.
Yeah,
Okay.
So then, we'll just regroup and bring it back. I don't know, we don't have to vote to bring it back, we'll just, okay. Alright. And then, action item C, consider and approve request for Bobby Thompson to become CDL examiner for Region 8.
Okay, so this is what this is. This would be for days that he is not employed or not working for Mount Vernon ISD, like on one of his Fridays off or whatever. But because of recent House bills, all administrators and superintendents must have board approval from their current school district before engaging in any work outside the district. So he is asking if he can be a CDL examiner for Region 8. like I said, they're beginning the process to be able to do CDL driving tests for drivers. And so he's been asked to help with that, so that's what our request is, to have board approval for Bobby to be able to do that on non-Mount Vernon days.
Any more questions on that? All right, do I have a motion to approve the request for Bobby Thompson to become CDL examiner for Region 8? Motion made by Linda, do I have a second? Seconded by Kathy, all four? 6-0.
Thank you.
Action item D, consider and approve extracurricular status request resolution for 4-H organization, Titus County.
Something we do each year to allow students who are part of the Titus County 4-H organization to basically have, be a school-approved absence if they're going to a 4-H show during the school year. That's what allows them to be able to get. We don't have one, we've not been sent one from Franklin County yet, but we usually get one, and we'll do that when we receive it.
All right, any questions? Okay, do I have a motion to approve extracurricular status request resolution for 4-H organization for Titus County? Motion made by Kathy,
I'll second.
seconded by Donnie, all four? 6-0.
Okay.
Action item E, consider and approve possible change to board policy FM local.
This is following last month's meeting in regard to student absences.
Just from what we had last meeting.
Yes,
correct?
ma'am. So the proposed is to change, the district shall not limit ineligible students' absences related to participation in extracurricular activities. That is in FM local. Previous policy stated that they would have a maximum of 15 extracurricular absences. This is basically just lining up our policy with our practice.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the change to policy change for FM local? Motion made by Linda, seconded by Donnie, all four? 6-0. And then action item F, consider and approve purchase of new weight equipment for the athletic department.
Shared this with you last month that this would be coming. Coach McLean has asked for some additional equipment in the weight room. You see two different quotes. One from BSN for $18,100. The other is from Power Lift for $63,311. So the recommendation would be to approve both those. You've already approved a budget amendment. That has not been budgeted for this year, so it come out to fund balance, which you've approved in the consent agenda. So make a recommendation to move forward. As you see, the lead time is 18 to 22 weeks. So we're ordering now to try to hopefully get here before Christmas, which will cause a little bit of work on Craig's part in regard to having to roll that forward into next budget year, but he knows that. So I told you also about some band equipment. Ms. Craver's worked with Mr. Lewanzen. They're working on a lease piece that is not going to have to come out of fund balance. So they're working through that process right now. So again, band will be getting some additional equipment as well.
Do I have any questions on that? All right, do I have a motion to approve the purchase of new weight equipment for the athletic department? Motion made by Kathy, do I have a second? Seconded by Donnie, all so. Alright, it is 6:24. We will convene into closed session for personnel matters pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.074 and to address legal concerns, implications, and questions regarding the posted agenda items pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.071. It is 8:19 p.m. We are reconvening into open session to consider matters discussed in closed session. Do you have a personnel report?
Yes, need to acknowledge professional contracts of Carrie Patrick and Harrison Haney, elementary assistant principal and coach teacher.
Any resignations?
Yes, we have one to acknowledge. That is Caroline Morgan, elementary special ed aide.
It is 8:19 p.m. and this meeting's adjourned.
Thank you all very much.